Welcome to the Side Action Podcast, the sports gambling show that covers everything in the world of sports betting from A through Z. We'll cover the four major sports, as well as anything and everything in between worth some action, and will increase the size of your bankroll. And here we go.
All right, welcome to the Side Action, episode 17 of season 7. My name is Jim Weglars, a.k.a. Wegs. You can follow me on at Wegspool on X and on Instagram.
And I'm Coop. You can check me on Instagram at Dalton Cooper, on X at Mr. Grumpyos. Again, we are the Side Action Podcast. Make sure to follow us on TikTok. I know Wegsy spends a lot of his hard-earned time there. So, Wegsy, it's good to see you, baby. We're not skipping. We're live. This is great.
Yeah, this guy couldn't get his ass out of bed over here. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
I wanted to do the Edge Studios. That's okay. I wanted to see that hat in person. You've got the abominable.
Oh, the abominable swole man, yeah.
Yeah, Bumble. I like him.
Nice.
I'm wearing the shirt. I got the Side Action shirt on. We're doing everything this week. So.
Hell yeah.
I do have to get some Christmas attire. More on that later. So how you doing, pal? You doing okay? You're wrapping up school, right? Last night was the last class ever, or just for the semester?
So it's like the last class of my shout out to Raja, by the way. It was my it was my my last night, like my curriculum, if you will. So I technically graduated. I won't have the ceremony until like February, I think. But that's funny.
Raja's really excited about it.
Yeah, I can tell. That's good. She's not the only one. So, but then I'm debating on whether I'm going to do the emphasis program or not. So we'll go from there. Obviously, we kind of start that up whenever we want to. So, but yeah, that's about it.
Congratulations, dude.
Cramming for that all week. Yeah, thanks.
Happy for you, dude. Yeah, there you go.
So, what about you? What's going on? And my life's been pretty boring this week.
Back to Chicago. It just means jumping in. Going to parties, hitting holiday club.
Yeah.
Went to see Wicked with a friend.
Nice.
I basically was out every night but last night. Went to Foreshadows holiday party, which was fun. Obviously, my voice has taken a toll over the last 2 weeks going out all the time. I don't know how that happens. Vocal strain, but doing okay. It's been stressful at work, so it's good to be home. It's been crazy for work, so I won't go into that too much, but happy to be back. No plans to go back to Hawaii. Probably won't go back to Hawaii, by the way, at this stage. We'll see what happens. So, ready to plug back into winter. It was like, when I woke up yesterday, it was like 7 degrees. I'm like, what the hell? So, yeah, it was kind of a nice soft landing. I got here at 50 degrees on Saturday. Hey, this isn't bad. Then down to 7. So, it's been about a 75-degree differential in 2 weeks. What are you gonna do? It's life.
Yeah. Did you forget how cold it got here? Like, I hope you didn't get Hawaii-fied while you were there, did you?
Well, my blood is thinner. I didn't eat as much cheese. I didn't thicken up the cholesterol, layer that we need in our arteries here. It's fine. I'll get used to it. Yeah. It did feel quite brisk when I left the party on Wednesday. That Foreshadows party, I was outside. I'm like, ooh. That's that icy, stiff breeze that I'm not used to. But I'll get there. I'm tough. I got the body here. I'm good.
Yeah. You just can't grow on your face, or are you just not allowed to have the beard, or?
I just
you
can't grow a mustache.
Or what?
I can't grow a mustache, pal. You want to look at Abe Lincoln right here? Fine. Okay. I'll have the Abe Lincoln for you. You know what I mean? I'll be like a Civil War general.
Yeah.
Andrew Luck or something, but no stash, dude. It's so light. It's like, it's better for me. Well, let's jump into this, Coop. Let's talk about the shed. I didn't get to update too much, so it's fine. It looks like you've got a couple people, and I'm glad you. Actually, no. Okay, let's hear your shed, because there's some interesting ones this week.
Yeah. So I went deep into the well this week. I wanted to get a little creative. Yeah. So the first one I thought of was Tar Heels men's basketball. I think they're in the shed. Yeah. So the Tar Heels men's basketball team is getting taken to the shed because Bill Belichick's coming to town, and they are no longer the development program of UNC. So it's going to be all about the football team. It's going to, it's been national news, major news this week is, Bill's going to Chapel Hill. He's taking his 30-year-old girlfriend with him, and they're gonna they're going to run Chapel Hill. So I'm excited to see what happens. If you look at their schedule next year, it looks like a cupcake. So I could see Bill making the playoff next year in his first year. I doubt he's going to win a national championship just because of, maybe the talent, being able to build the roster correctly, but I could definitely see them making the playoffs.
Well, a couple things on that. A guy I listened to on VSiN, Michael Lombardi, who's also a former general manager. GM, eh? He is a GM, which is kind of unique position on that. And I actually heard the announcement yesterday on the show and everything. Is kind of cool. So that's interesting. They're running it like an NFL team now, basically.
Yeah.
I was going to put North Carolina in the shed because I don't know how you feel about this. I don't know, man. I don't think this is a good move. I mean, not to say that Bill Belichick's not the greatest ever in the NFL, but college, and I think the other thing is that, from what I understood, there's already a planned succession plan to his son, Steve, right? Is that right? Is that his name, Steve?
Yeah.
Which I'm like, that dude's never done a goddamn thing except have a mullet. So I'm not saying it. I agree they probably will be good year one. We're not talking about Deion Sanders who can go in and dazzle recruits and portal people. So it's going to be interesting. I didn't put it in there. I didn't type it in, but I was going to put. Yeah, I don't know if this is a good move. I mean, I'm happy for everybody. Yes, the 30-year-old girl. All the memes are hilarious. Like, Bill Belichick getting in the hot tub with the ladies. Like Roddy Dangerfield or whatever. But anyway, great entertainment anyway.
Yeah, I think it could work. I mean, Steve's been the defensive coordinator at Washington this year. He's been around the college game for a minute, so I don't know. We'll see. But I mean, with NIL, it's more like a professional football than it has been ever in the history of the world, really, with college. So we'll see what happens.
What about your other shed?
Yeah. So I'm putting Cam Rising in the shed. So if you listen to this podcast at the beginning of the year or even last year, I've usually been a big fan of Cam Rising, kind of a homer, if you will. But he announced this week that he's expected to return to college football for another year. No big deal, right? I mean, anybody else does this. But the problem is that he's been playing college football since 2018. So he's 25 years old. Obviously, he missed a couple seasons due to injury. He's also, the COVID year. But can this guy not get a job at Enterprise like the rest of us? Like, Jesus Christ, like it's just time to, it's time to move on, man. So I'm putting him in the shed. Like, he's going to be – I think he had a teammate, the wide receiver Pele that plays for the Broncos. He was 26 last year this year when he got drafted. So it's just it's crazy. I think this is the problem with college football. Like, he's a grown man playing against 18 and 19-year-olds. So, yeah, I'm putting him in the shed.
They do have to figure out this NIL thing with eligibility, because the reason why he's staying is money, obviously, right? Because he's getting paid more in college than the pros, and he may not be even he's probably will get drafted in the first round if he went, but the contracts aren't as lucrative, especially if he's not a first round, like the first pick in the draft. So
right, and he's not going to be returning to Utah. He's going to be going to a different school, which I thought was interesting.
Well, he's an old guy. You might as well collect a check.
Yeah, if he can stay healthy, we'll see.
All right, I'm going to put the Bears.
Nice.
I know we've been beating up on them for weeks, but where's the dead cat bounce? First of all, where's the dead cat bounce? Every team, even the Jets, played better when they didn't win their game, which is, obviously against the DCB, as we call it. But the Bears went out and were a no-show.
Yeah.
And it's just like the first half of the Lions. They did nothing in the first half. 24-0. As you mentioned, it was like 291-4 or something like that. Yard disparity. Got their ass kicked by a team that's basically got nobody out there. San Francisco, who, we talk about that later. Last night was an ugly one. But 38-13. Look, the only good thing about it is we kind of communicating. Thomas Brown will not be the head coach of this team, which is good, because I didn't want to get the whole, Antonio Pierce situation where they played good for 4 games and then he's going to get the job because the McCaskey's cheap out like normal. So Bears, get in there with Cam Rising. I mean, he doesn't want to play for you, obviously. He's want to go to the pros. And the Tar Heels, obviously the basketball team, they're sad. They're sad.
Yeah.
Give them a pick up.
They're going through it.
Yeah. Well, Club Dub, and we have tons of people to throw in here. I'll go first. I like your options here. I'm going to do SMU Mustangs. Now, you could say, well, Wegs, as you call me, Wegsy. Wegsy, SMU didn't win the game. They didn't win the game. I know they didn't win the game, but they still made the playoff. So take that, Alabama. And the thing is that this is a team that moved to the ACC this year from where were they were AAC
American. I think they're American, yeah.
And they played really well, and they could have just laid down because I mean, obviously, maybe if they would have gotten their ass kicked because they were getting beat pretty bad early, like Clemson and stormed back, tied the game. They could have just laid down. They didn't, and obviously made the playoff. We'll talk about that later. So SMU, great job this year. Coming to Club Dub, have a great time. You're probably not going to be in the playoff too long, but you beat out Alabama, and screw you guys, the Tide.
Yeah, Cade Klubnik, I think, was the first quarterback in ACC title game history to throw 3 touchdowns in a quarter. So he did that in the first, by the way. So
that's awesome.
We'll definitely see. That's a good pick. I like that.
And then I like, he's back. He's back. We like gingers in Club Dub. We have to have a ginger in there every month. Sam Darnold, you are back, sir. Come on in. 347 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions in the big win against Atlanta. More importantly, Coop, I had a terrible team in one of my leagues, and I had Sam Darnold. I avoided getting in last place because of this, because I was able to not just win my last game for my 3rd win of the year, but jump the person who was basically I was competing for. Because the problem in our league is if you lose, everybody gets to nickname you all year. They like switch your team name, and it's pretty disheartening. It could be some rough stuff. It's like Slocktopoppus something face or whatever the hell it is now.
Nice.
It could be some disparaging things. So anyway, thank you, Sam Darnold, for taking me out of the cellar, and thank you. Welcome to Club Dub. Do what you'd like. You've been around. Help yourself.
Yeah. No, he's been promoting. He had to come back to see how his promotion's been going. So no, for sure. Well, I had Jamar Chase in Club Dub. He went off Monday night against the Cowboys. Yeah, he's pretty good. Yeah, that's one way to say it. Of course, the Cowboys lose at home again. So death taxes and the Cowboys losing at home. That seems to be that seems to be the certainties this year. So, but yeah, he had 14 catches, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Bengals win 27-20. Keep the playoff hopes alive. Let's not get carried away, Wegsy. They're still alive. It's not a big alive, but there's still a heartbeat there. You can't mail your ticket in. You still got that future, I'm sure. So, and then the other Club Dub, I was on the right side of this game, but Josh Allen's in Club Dub. First quarterback in fantasy stat history to score more than 50 points in a single week. He had 6 touchdowns. He had 3 passing and 3 rushing. So just, Herculean effort. If he could play defense, I think they might have won. But he doesn't play defense, unfortunately. But yeah, he's still on Club Dub. He's going to enjoy his time with Sam and hang out and put him through a table maybe.
Yeah, they got to bomb some tables. Mind you, Four Shadows is now a Bills bar, by the way.
No way.
They switched to a Bills bar. So Lincoln Station.
Sellouts. What a bunch of sellouts.
Yeah, what are you going to do? The Colts Raja doesn't like it either. You heard that.
Yeah, I agree.
No, Josh Allen's the man. I mean, he's obviously solidified his MVP standing with that game. Pretty exciting game, 44-42 final. But nice work. I like it. Josh, I don't think he's been in Club Dub yet, so he might have a fun time. I mean, he might go into the Art Murphy, VIP section of Club Dub.
He's gonna enjoy himself. That's for sure. He's gonna be a big hit.
Well, let's talk college. Obviously last week we didn't get to. Wait, last week we did do stuff. Why did I have picks? Oh, we did do picks. Let's recap. Sorry. It's all champ week. We had a really good week, actually. So start off with Arizona State. We kind of knew this one. Arizona State has been on a tear. They've been red hot, if you will, in the Sun Devils. They crushed Iowa State. It was close early, and then they just kept rolling. 45-19. This was an easy cover for you. We'll talk about them in a minute, but no surprise here, right?
No, not really. Their running back is actually the first running back since Christian McCaffrey to have I think it was like 1,000 yards rushing and then over 500 yards receiving in a season, or maybe 1,500 yards rushing and 500 yards receiving in a season. So
what's his name, like Scataboo or something like
yeah,
that?
something like that. It's
Cool
a
name.
tongue twister. Yeah, but he's pretty good, and I mean they're playing their best football at the best time. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
The other game, Georgia wins a tight one in OT, so Texas didn't come through. It was a weird game. Final score 22-19 in overtime. It was kind of like the game last night. I was just like, are we just going to kick field goals in this game, guys? Can we score some touchdowns? Now the teams know each other. They played already. Maybe they were also holding back because they probably both knew they probably would make it. Georgia may not have made it. I'm not sure if they'd have lost, but in the end, so this was the only blemish on the record here.
Yeah, no,
Raja really doesn't like it. Calm down.
Apparently she doesn't like Bebo. She's not a big fan. But no, I mean, I thought when Carson Beck went out, I actually thought Georgia's chances to win the game were actually going to be better, just for some weird reason, just because it seems like this year he's been either the catalyst to their victories or the catalyst to their losses. It seems like. Yep. So they'll see moving forward. I don't know who they're going to play. It looked like he had a pretty bad elbow or shoulder injury, whatever he had. That was a weird position he got hit into. So, but we'll see moving forward. I do like Georgia's defense, man. They can slow down anybody. So that's probably the team you wouldn't want to play right now.
That's true. Oregon, no surprise here, although early Penn State was running with them. This became a track meet. They did cover the number, but they won 45-37. Wait a second. James Franklin didn't beat a top 10 opponent again? This just did. But Oregon, we'll talk about them in a minute. They kind of got screwed on their draw. They are definitely the best team in the country in my view, but their draw got tough for the playoff.
Yeah, that is very fair. We'll talk about that, I'm sure. But I was actually kind of impressed with Penn State. I thought they played pretty well. They had one interception that kind of swung like the scoring standard. They put Oregon up 2 scores, and they were just chasing that the rest of the game. So, I mean, outside of that one interception, I thought Penn State played pretty well. I mean, that was probably the best they've looked in a big game under James Franklin in a hot minute since probably Saquon Barkley was there. So, yeah, shout out to them.
Big game, James Franklin.
Yeah, I was going to say, you could sprinkle a future on Penn State. They got a pretty good draw in the bracket, too, to be honest. So we could see a rematch of this in the national championship game, which I think would be interesting.
Yeah. And then Clemson, we talked about it. They jumped out early 24-7, were able to hold off SMU, but they were the dog in this one? They were the dog.
Yeah, Clemson was. They were plus 2.5.
So they win the game 34-31. Would not have qualified without winning, so that's big for them.
Yeah.
Let's go into the bracket here slowly. We can go maybe more deeper next week, but just kind of initial impressions. 12-team playoff. 4 teams have buys. They kind of gave some weird buys, in my opinion. But we'll go over the games that are set right now and then who they would play, and then you can kind of give me your general impressions. Games start on Friday, Coop. So it's the first game is Indiana, who's the 10 seed, against Notre Dame, the 7 seed. That's Friday at 7 p.m. Central Time. Notre Dame is an 8-point favorite. They will play this game at home, 51.5 point total. The winner of this game will play Georgia. Georgia is plus 500 to win it all. Notre Dame's plus 600, and then Indiana's pretty low at plus 4,000. What do you think about this game?
Well, first impression, I like Indiana plus the 8, just because I think this screams backdoor cover. I think Notre Dame will probably win the game. They'll probably be able to run the football pretty well. Though Indiana's defensive line is pretty good. It's one of the strengths of this team, but sure. I just think 8's too many. I think this is more of a 4-point game. So I just think Indiana's ability to throw the football, they're a pass-happy team a little bit anyway. So I think just giving that away is too much to give away in the back door. So, and I think Kurt Sagnetti can, coach them up and at least have them, I don't think there's a big coaching gap between Marcus Freeman and Kurt Sagnetti. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and Notre Dame, who they played lately? They haven't played good teams. Not that Indiana's played
like USC maybe.
Yeah, USC was okay, and that game was decent. Indiana hasn't played a bear of a schedule, but they've played some good teams. So we'll see. I'll be rooting for Indiana for sure on this one. And then obviously Georgia. You think Georgia's going to take out whoever wins this game, though, right?
Yeah, I would say Indiana might have a better chance to beat Georgia just because their passing game is much better. And I don't think you can out physical Georgia. I think you'd have to spread Georgia out and beat them that way.
Mm-hmm. The next game is number 11's SMU at Penn State. number 6, and that's Saturday at 11 a.m. That's the 21st. It's not this week, it's next week. So Penn State's a 9-point favorite here, 53.5-point total. The winner plays Boise State, the 3 seed, which is funny because Boise State, the 3 seed, is plus 6,600, which is worse odds than either of the other teams. SMU is plus 5,000 and Penn State's plus 450. So, I understand. I love Boise. I'll be rooting for them just because they're a little guy, but they probably shouldn't have gotten a bye. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I know you like Penn State probably in this one. You know I'm going to be picking at SMU because that's my squad. I've got to decide if I'm going to roll money lines with SMU or just do the future of plus 5,000. But this will be the big game. I don't know if they're going to do it because Penn State's at home. Happy Valley. It's going to be nuts there. But 9 points, it seems like a lot. SMU can score.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a warm weather team from Texas going to PA in the middle of December.
That's right.
Me being a Dolphins fan, I've heard that way too many times, that narrative. So that's what I would go with. I think Penn State can out physical SMU. I mean, Clemson, you saw what Clemson did to SMU with Clay Klubnik, and I just think Drew Aller, like I said, he looked really good in the Big Ten championship game. I think he can look really good against SMU, and yeah, that's going to be a tough task going to Happy Valley in a playoff game in a whiteout. By the way, they're doing a whiteout.
Oh, I know it's going to be a whiteout. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And then you think, and in May, I would just say the winner of this game beats Boise. I want Genty to have a great game and showcase, but either way, they're probably going to be the dog in the next game, which is kind of weird that they have the bye.
Yeah, well, the way it was written, it was the conference champions get bye, so I'm sure they'll revise that next year and they'll just reseed, or they'll seed everybody how they want them.
Right, that's true. All right, so Clemson is the 12 seed. They were the ACC champ at Texas, so they kind of get screwed in a way. That's going to be Saturday at 3 p.m. Central. For the game, Clemson, I wrote this wrong. Texas is a 11.5-point favorite, 51.5-point total. The winner of this game also plays a team that does not have big odds in ASU. I understand they won the Big 12. ASU's chances to win the whole thing are plus 6,600. As is Clemson's plus 6,600. Texas is the short favorite at plus 300. Seems like a walk in the park for Texas, but you think Clemson can put up a fight. You liked them most of the year.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I think Clemson has going for them in this game is that they're just happy to be there. Like, all the pressure is literally on Texas. So
yes.
No one in the whole world is gonna pick Clemson to beat Texas unless you play for Clemson or you went to Clemson. So I don't know if that's gonna play a factor, just because it seems, Texas does seem to I don't know, they've kind of folded in some pressure spots this year. So maybe that's the angle, but I think this is a get right game for Texas. I don't think Clemson can handle the physicality that Texas is gonna bring to them.
Right, I agree. And then Texas will likely beat Arizona State. So
yeah, I was just, I think Texas.
You like them to get deep. So
nice.
That'll be of course. But that's the the semifinals. And then Tennessee is playing Ohio State. This will be the late game on Saturday the 21st. That's 7 p.m. Central. They are a 7.5-point dog at Ohio State, 46.5-point total. The winner will play Oregon, the 1 seed. Again, I'm not sure. I understand how it all worked out, but having an Ohio State sitting there, this is definitely a tough task for Oregon. Of course, they're the second favorites, plus 350. So they've got no favors here. Ohio State's plus 450. They're the third choice, I think, if you look at the hierarchy here. I'm not maybe. Yeah, they're about the same as Penn State. So they're kind of the third odds choice that they have to play the second game if they do advance.
Yeah.
What do you think? Tennessee's been one of these teams. I've liked them all year. I don't like the matchup here, although they are pretty tough. They can go down.
Oh,
they
really?
can probably go up to, the horseshoe. Do you think 7.5 is enough points, or do you think that's you take the dog in this one?
No, I would take Tennessee. There's a couple reasons why. One, Tennessee's defensive front seven, their defensive line is one of the strengths. They're built similar to Michigan, to where like the strength of their team is their defensive line play. So we saw how Ohio State's had injuries on the offensive line last month of the season or so, and it really reared its head against Michigan. I think that plays in Tennessee's favor. And then the other, like the psychological part of it, I think plays into Tennessee's favor as well. I think Ohio State was the one team that needed to get a road game in the first round. I think they needed to get out of Columbus, because I think if they come out and if they have a shitty first drive or even just a shitty couple drives to start the game, like the crowd's going to turn against them just because they just lost in, and it's going to be, I just think from a psychological standpoint, I just think Ohio State would have been better off going to Tennessee to play this game. So I like the Vols. I do. I think they feel disrespected. I think Ohio State I think they're still licking their wounds. I mean, they showed that they kind of really are a soft team. Did you see the OHIO Sportsmanship Act, by the way? So
no, I did not.
Yeah, I should have put that in the shed. So they're making a flag planting at Ohio Stadium a 5th-degree felony. Yeah.
My God, a felony?
Yeah. So you can if you tune into Between the Benches, I put them in the bin. I had a nice little 50-second rant on Ohio State yesterday or the day before. So, nice. But yeah, I just, like I said, I think there's a lot of variables that are leaning to Tennessee, and I would just maybe a 3-point game at the most. So
yeah, I think Tennessee's battle tested. They have played a tough schedule out of anybody in this whole. Oregon actually played a tough schedule too, but Tennessee, the SEC, they were always playing like Alabama or they played Georgia too. They played everybody in the whole damn. I don't know how that worked. That Texas got a soft schedule and Tennessee got screwed, but Tennessee battle tested, so they're definitely a team that could do it at plus 3,000. It's pretty good. Pretty good number for them. Maybe they're the team I should be on the bandwagon. I haven't put any futures on this yet.
Maybe.
And then Oregon, obviously they're the second favorite. It's going to be tough. Do you think that Tennessee and Ohio State could beat Oregon?
I mean, I guess, but I mean, I would take the dog in that game just because I think the 2 or 3 weeks off is actually a detriment to Oregon. I think that as well as they were playing, to not be playing for a week or two, I think could be a hindrance to any of those teams. But I especially think with Oregon, just because they had a slow start at the beginning of the season, right? So I don't think the time off is going to do them any favors. I think they were a team that just needed to keep playing, but we'll see. We'll see who they're playing and what injuries are happening and stuff like that.
Nice. Well, we can go over official picks next week, but your early leans, I know you've liked Texas all year anyway. They've got an easy draw. But you said Penn State too as a good future, right?
Yeah, Penn State is a lot of good value there. You could even, if you wanted to lean into SMU, definitely the bottom half of the bracket, I think is the better way to go if you're going to pick a future winner.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Well, and then this week, the only big game is the Army versus Navy game. I guess they're playing in Landover, Maryland. So looks like you like a team in this one.
Yeah, like Army. I don't even know what the spread is, but just take Army.
There you go. Army, no matter what the spread is. That's regular season pick of the year.
Yeah.
Oh, let's get in the NFL here, Coop. Interesting week when we look at it. Of course, I didn't do all the notes that I needed to here. So let's start off with the dogs came back. Like it's on average this year, it's been a little weird. The favorites have won at a pretty good clip. And I was talking to some friends at the bar. They're like, yeah, man, a terrible year. I'm like, yeah, me too, dude. It's like they're winning at, about 53%, 52.5% clip, which is, obviously the difference between 50 and 53 is money. You win more money, I guess, if you're picking favorites. So, but this week was a flip. It went back to the dogs, 8-5 last week. They're a short slate. But of that, the other thing that's happening more is that the lines are getting tighter. 4 of the favorites won the game but didn't cover. So only, really one outright, right? Like when we were talking about it, like there were 4, that could have been, obviously covered, but they won the game. They didn't cover the numbers. So the totals were really 6 and 7, so the under. So, it was a little tighter. We had a good week picks wise. Both we didn't end up picking as good, and like official picks were 3 and 2, but
of course,
it's like of course we didn't get what we should have. I was 4-2 personally. The Vikings, they came through in the clutch. We ended up picking this really more of a play against Atlanta. We talked about Sam Darnold. They won 42-24. Your Finns, we ended up going on the Finns. It was kind of a late addition because we were kind of debating some other.
You sweat that one all the way out.
God, That's a miracle cover, bro. There's no way. They were losing the whole goddamn game. The only thing is the Jets just stink. This is the thing. The Jets aren't that good. And somehow the Dolphins not only pushed to overtime because they were losing, and then they get the touchdown to get the cover. So never a doubt, Coop. Your fins up, baby.
Yeah, shout out to Aaron Rodgers. He finally threw for over 300 yards, breaking his career-long streak of 31 games in a row, or 32 games in a row, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. Big deal. They're
longest
eliminated.
NFL history, by the way, for a starting quarterback to have like a certain amount of starts to go that long without throwing over 300 yards. So,
wow,
impressive.
He should just hang it up, but he won't. We were on opposite sides. We took the Bucks. We took the Bucks. You took the Raiders. It's fine. The Raiders they've got issues. They got a lot of injuries. They played decent early. It was kind of a weird game. The Bucks jump out really quick, 14-0. I'm like, oh, no problem, Rocky. Sure, cover. Raiders come back, and then in the fourth quarter, the Bucks are like, okay, we're done. 28-13. We're winning this game and covering. So, kind of a weird game. As you said, play with their food.
Yeah, they could have. The Raiders were. They could have gone up 17-14, I think, and then they turned it over. Maybe they were getting ready to score a touchdown. They turned it over, and that was. Yeah. Anyway, the Bucks had momentum, then the Raiders took momentum, and then I was almost about to text you and be like, hey, these Raiders, I told you, but hey, whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah, I know. I was going to be like, was this which was the 401k one? Is this the next one, the Bills one?
Yeah, the next one, yeah.
Okay. There were a couple candidates. So this one, it did work out for you, Rams-Bills. What a game. Obviously, the Rams were just killing in the first half. That's from what I saw, 24-14. And then the Bills this team can score at will. I mean, it's obviously Josh Allen, who's amazing. The key part of this game was, they went for that quarterback sneak and they called the timeout. They might have had a chance to win this game. They ended up scoring late, didn't get the onside kick, and basically time ran out, but 44-42. But there was a little mismanagement by McDermott there, which kind of scares me in like an actual playoff game. But in the end, I don't know. Like, I'm glad that you got your pick and that we didn't get the Bills there. But the Bills, that offense is insane.
Yeah, and their defense is getting healthier. So they're getting a couple guys back, and also getting Coleman back this week. So yeah, they're playing well, and they're getting the guys back that they need.
But we'll talk in a minute. With the win last night, the Rams are still in there. I saw 52% chance to make the playoffs.
That's good. I think they're gonna overtake Washington. I'm telling you, this is my team, man. They're getting together. They're coming together. Yeah.
We already mentioned the Bears, but to go over that again, we did pick them, and as did many people. The Seahawks ended up, Ashton talked me into flipping on the Seahawks, and from the Cardinals, and he was right. It's something, they're playing good defense first and foremost, which is great. But more importantly, they have been beating up on not great teams. So we'll talk about this week, but they're the leader. Now they're the clear leader in the NFC West, and if you look at it, they have a really good chance to make the playoffs and win the division. So, to your point, the Rams, they still can win the division. They're 7-6. They're a game back, but 30-18. It's for some reason Seattle has Kyler Murray's number.
Yeah, and Kyler Murray's a little different when you get pressure on him, and all they did was get pressure on him all day. So I think he threw 2 picks pretty early in that game as well, and he ended up just chasing it. So.
We had the Chargers, or maybe I had the Chargers. We didn't get this as an official pick. This is one of these games. Like, come on, dude. Like, you had to sweat it out again. The Chiefs again. Like, how many times are they going to win? They went out 13-0. Looked great. I'm like, oh, I guess it's a dead pick. And then, of course, they come back even without Ladd McConkey in the game. They took the lead. The Chargers twice, and then the Chiefs is what they do. Mahomes gets a 20-yard run, gets in a field goal position, and they kind of lollygagged at like 2 seconds, and then the dude dongs the upright to win the game. I'm like, 19-17. So they keep winning, but don't cover again.
Yeah, and if the Chargers could score in the first half, Herbert missed Josh Palmer by like, I don't know, a half an inch on a deep ball, and then literally any kind of score for the Chargers in the first half in this game, like the Chargers were the better team, in my opinion, the eye test. They got to Mahomes all night. They had pressure. Like, I think they had 3 or 4 sacks in the first half alone. So, yeah, Kansas City's got a really bad offensive line tackle problem right now, and they cannot protect on the outside very well. So, I don't know. I think that's going to play into the Chargers' hands if they play again for some reason, whether it's like maybe the first round of the playoffs or something. I mean, I think moving forward, the biggest threat to the Chiefs is the Chargers.
You heard it here. And then the Bengals, your Bengals pick. This was miracle cover number 2. Bengals were favored by like 5 points, maybe went up to 5.5. They had, they didn't play great, as they haven't all season, and they had no chance. They're punting the ball and it gets blocked on the last punt. Dallas blocks the kick. It's not a full block; it's a partial block. And what happens? Some dumbass practice squad guy tries to scoop the ball, and it gives right back to Jamar Chase and the gang, and they score the touchdown to win the game and cover. It was improbable.
Yeah, no, I've never seen that before. I didn't even know that was a rule that you could advance the ball after it was touched, as long as it's touched by. Because if they were to kick the ball and the returner drops it, they can't advance the ball. But apparently on a block, they can advance the ball. I don't know if you ever thought about that, but
I didn't think about it. I didn't
know that because I know, like I said, I know if they go to recover a fumble from like a drop punt, like they can't advance the ball from the spot that it was touched, but they can advance the ball on a tip of a block kick or something like that, which is weird because you can't do that on a field goal, can you? Well, I guess you can as long as it's touched by the other team. Yeah, because the Patriots lost.
You can definitely you can do it on a field goal, but that's a good point. I don't know why on a muff punt you can't advance it. Interesting.
So just food for thought. But yeah, just talk about a crazy way to win a game. Also, the Simpsons part of this game was fun, right? I mean, you had Bart throwing to Lisa,
Lisa's fast. Lisa's got some jets. Okay, so let's get into this week's spreads, Coop. Last night, we already had the Rams 49ers. Boy, this was a boring-ass game. I turned on a bad holiday movie last night instead of watching this game.
Well, they played in a swamp, so.
It was torrential downpour. Yeah. Just a field goal fest. In the end, the Rams did prevail, 12-6. It's ugly. It was kind of weird after the game. I don't know if you heard the whole thing about the dude who walked off and refused to play. I'm not sure what's going on there, but the 49ers are done basically, right? I mean, I think that they maybe aren't mathematically eliminated, but effectively. And the Brock Purdy MVP chanting isn't too loud these days. But your Rams got the win, 12-6. They still have life.
We still got life. We got the best coach in the NFL, and
best hair.
Good quarterback. I mean, Cooper Kupp was invisible last night, and they still won. Which I'm going against him in the playoffs for fantasy right now. So you talk about a double jackpot for me. That was great. The Rams won, and Cooper Kupp did absolutely nothing. So I thought it was an all-around great night.
Good for you. Well, in the Sunday slate, there's no crazy games. Everybody's playing this week. We're done with the buys, which again, don't get me started on the week 14 buys. But anyway, Jets at the Jags to start. In the contest, it's the Jets 3-point favorites on the road, 40.5-point total. The market's 3.5 for the Jets. There is nowhere in the world that I would lay 3.5 points with the Jets. It doesn't mean I'm an opponent for the Jags, who won last week, by the way, beat the Titans. Where in the world am I going to lay 3.5 with the Jets? No, thank you. So it's Jags or pass. It's a stinky, what do they call it? Stinky dog play if you want it, but I'm not backing the Jets.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think, man, we thought Will Levis against Mac Jones was bad. Now can we get Aaron Rodgers against what? Is Trevor Lawrence going to play, or is it Mac Jones again?
It's Mac Jones. Lawrence is officially out for the year now.
Yeah, this is going to be a snooze fest. This is your bad holiday Christmas game, right?
Yes, exactly.
Bad holiday Christmas movie game. There you go.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I'm with you. I just wouldn't give up. I mean, the hook, right? I'd play the hook and just leave it at that.
Right, exactly. How about Cowboys at the Panthers? The Panthers, I'm telling you, this team is frisky. I told you that last week. Against the Eagles, they're frisky. They almost won the game, but they're 2.5-point favorites now. 43-point total. I don't understand this. I mean, I love the Panthers. I want them to win this game. I think they are going to win this game. I don't know if I can make a contest pick on it. originally this opened at 1, like a -1. I was like all over it. I'm like, now you're up to a field goal basically. I'm like, ugh. So the Cowboys, are done. They're eliminated. So maybe they just don't care. But I don't know. I guess it's Panthers or pass for me. I do like the way they're playing.
Oh, really? No, I love the Cowboys. Yeah, I mean, the Cowboys are on the road. I think they're going to, yeah, we'll take them away from Jerry's world. We just won't take them at home this year, but we'll take them on the road. Yeah. No, I mean, Cooper Rush played pretty well. I mean, they got beat by a superior team on a fluke punt, basically. So, yeah, I thought they played pretty well. And, yeah, I think the Cowboys are going to show a little more fight than the Panthers. So, and I also think Micah Parsons can get the Bryce Youngs and disrupt him. I mean, Joe Burrow had a couple really good, elusive, stepping up in the pocket and stuff like that. I just don't think Bryce Young can move like Joe Burrow. So, yeah, I like.
Yeah, I just like the way they're playing. They haven't been playing for anything for weeks, and they're still playing good football. But I hear what you're saying. I mean, the Cowboys, if they play to their fullest potential, will they? Don't know.
Is Mike McCarthy going to coach his way all the way back into a job, by the way?
You think so?
I mean, if he wins out, don't you think he?
Oh, boy.
You think so?
I would. You know what? I'm not a Cowboys backer, so I hope that happens. But you can't do this. You can't do it with McCarthy. You can't.
No,
Maybe now that Belichick's gone, maybe there's a chance. Maybe you're right.
We'll see.
Let's go Chiefs at the Browns here. Chiefs are 4-point favorites on the road, 43.5-point total. I love the Browns here. They're not on my top 5, but Jameis, good Jameis, bad Jameis. The dude just throws picks when you don't need him. But he didn't play great against Steelers last week. But I think against the Chiefs, he's going to play an awesome game. So I'm saying Browns are going to win this game. They're finally going to take down the evil beast of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, all the way from their bad memories of a playoff loss a couple of years ago. Is that what you're saying?
That's right.
Gotcha. I mean, I see your point because there's another pick coming up that would make sense because I definitely think that one team is going to beat another really good team, which means to make that playoff race a little bit tighter, that team would have to lose to this team. So I just think the Chiefs are the play. I just think Steve Spagnuolo could confuse Jameis, and Jameis will keep throwing interceptions. Again, death taxes and Jameis Winston interceptions, So
yeah, I'm going to pick 6, Jameis.
Yeah, it's a stay away game for me, but I would take the Chiefs here.
Fins at Texans. Texans are 2.5-point favorites in the contest, 46.5-point total. The market is 3 on the Texans. It's a get-right game for the Texans, buddy. I know that the Fins have been playing better. I know that, and Houston has been down all year. But I got a feeling on this one that they're gonna come back, revitalized after the bye, and actually get this done. So I don't love the 3 in a contest. I like 2.5 for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you. If you get to 3.5, I think you take Miami. I don't know. It's finally a big game that we're not going to have to worry about the weather finally as a Dolphins fan. So that's going to be nice to see. You'll know within the first quarter if the Dolphins are going to win this game or not. That's what I'll say. Like if we have a good first quarter, I would take the Fins. If you're going to live bet it, if they have a good first quarter, I would take the Fins. I think Joe Mixon's the difference here. I just think he's gonna get 25 carries probably, and that's gonna be the difference in the game is just the ball control for one, and then he's gonna just kill us in the front 7. So I just we'll see. I think turnover. If Houston loses the turnover battle, I think that's the way Miami wins this game.
Yeah. Washington is going to the Saints. They're a robust 7.5-point favorite, 43.5-point total. They are on the kind of bottom of my picks here. The Saints don't have Derek Carr. They don't have Taysom Hill. They don't have a lot of people, and they're not that good. The Commanders, they had that stretch where they weren't playing good offensively. They coming off the bye. I don't love the 7.5. Don't love the number, but I think they are going to play really good. And the Saints, their numbers are a little bit rough when you don't have Carr and definitely Taysom Hill. So I lay the wood in this one. I know that you want them to lose for the Rams, but they're going to win this game.
The Marshawn Lattimore revenge game. Is he going to play? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, sure.
I still love the Saints, though. I just think the expectation. I think expectation is finally starting to set into the building, and they're a brand new franchise. Everything, well, not a brand new franchise, but everything from the top down, as far as people involved, are brand new. And I don't know. I'm manifesting the Rams getting into the playoffs. So like I said, I think I think Washington has to stub their toe, and I think this is going to be the game that they really stub their toe in. So Yeah, I think 7.5 is way too many. You could sprinkle Saints money line. You want to get real frisky, but we'll see.
There you go.
Yeah.
We're against each other in a lot of these. This is good. Ravens at the Giants. This game opened as a 14-point favorite. It's up to 16.5 in the contest. The market is 16, 42.5-point total on the road. We know the Giants stink. We know the Ravens are going to come out for blood. I can't lay that big of a number. It's just too big. I mean, it's too big. That's what she said.
Nice.
But, come on. The Ravens should kill it, but I would just be sweaty, a little sweaty for that 16.5.
I don't know. I would stay away, but I feel like you have to take the Ravens if you're going to take a number. I really do, just because I feel like the Giants, tackling has been their Achilles heel all year. They're not going to want to tackle Derrick Henry in the cold. Nobody wants to tackle him, period, let alone in the cold. So, and the Giants' pass defense has arguably been one of the worst in the league. So the only thing that can save the Giants here is their pass rush, and
right.
I don't think that's going to matter in this game at all, because I think the run game is going to neutralize it. So hammer the Ravens. Why not?
Did you hear that Lamar's mom was calling out that he should be running the ball more?
No.
So yeah, the play this week to me is Lamar's rushing prop, probably his TD prop, because he's a rushing TD prop because mom called him out.
Any idea what the total team prop for the Giants is this week? Like how many points are
the points?
Yeah. Well, just how many? Like I would take the over on point total for the Giants, because if it's a 16.5-point spread, and you said the over under was like in the 42.5 range, that means
really low. Yeah.
That means we're only expecting the Giants to score 10 points. And this defense is terrible in the back end. So they scored 2 touchdowns. It could be there's a winner for you. So I would take the Giants I would take the over in this game. I would feel pretty good about that.
42.5. Yeah, could be opened up. Let's see if
the Ravens can score that much by themselves according to the spread. So.
Gotcha. Let's see. That's total points. Let's see if I can get to it. It might take me a minute, but I think you're probably right if you do the math. 21. It's actually probably it's less, right? Yeah, 8. Well, yeah, probably like 12 points. 12 points. So yeah, over the 12.5. Good call.
I like it.
All right, Bengals at the Titans. Bengals are 5-point favorites on the road, 46.5-point total. Bengals are in must-win mode, even though they're probably not going to make the playoffs. The Titans are the Titans. They got a really good defense, but Will Levis is at the helm. Looks like we're opposite here. I do like the Bengals to just keep scoring, even though it's a tough defense, because they just can do that. And the Titans, look, this team, they probably beat me on 3 or 4 official picks in the contest. So I just can't do it. Make the case for the Titans, though.
Well, their head coach was Cincinnati's offensive coordinator last year, so I think he's going to have at least an idea of what the Bengals want to do. Yeah, exactly, Raja. Then the Bengals, they're going to have an idea, and obviously the Bengals defense is just garbage. So if Will Levis can, I think the back door's open here. I really do. I think this is going to be an ugly game. I think it's going to be probably like, 21-13 at some point, and then they're going to, get a late score, maybe 22-20, that kind of game. But yeah, I think the 5 is too many. I think they're going to play for their head coach, the Titans, just because this is probably the one game they've circled all year, as opposed to Brian Callahan. And I like the Titans. That was the approach I took. That was like how I first looked at this game.
I get it. My numbers say that. Let me see here. Jesus, Raja, just relax. It should be a 2.5-point spread.
Yeah,
that's when I do my numbers. The problem is it's Will Levis, dude. This guy turns the ball over more than Jameis. Like he's awful. So yeah, I hear you. It's the right like it makes sense. It's just we're talking Will Levis.
Yeah.
Patriots at the Cardinals. Cardinals are 6-point favorites at home, 46-point total. As the 3 p.m. Central starts the late games. I don't know, man. The Cardinals, they're not done. They still can claw their way back. Patriots are not great. Raja apparently is not happy. I don't know. This is a who cares game. I could care less about it. I'm not sure if the Cardinals can cover 6, but they've been able to beat pretty bad teams too.
Yeah, no, I like Marvin Harrison's receiving prop in this game.
Okay.
I think he's due for a big game. Him and Kyler Murray have been kind of getting more on the same page week by week. And I just don't think the Patriots are getting enough pressure on Kyler Murray, and he'll be able to kind of work his magic like he normally does. So I'd go Cardinals here.
Nice. Colts at the Broncos. Broncos are 4-point favorites at home, 44-point total. Colts are coming off the bye. Broncos have been, also off the bye, sitting pretty, playing really good. Initially, they were in my top 5, but I kind of backed off on it because there's been a lot of case that, Richardson can do some stuff against this defense, but I don't know. I'm going to sit and watch this game. I was Broncos or pass, but a lot of people love the Colts in the Sharp community.
Yeah, I'm a big Colts fan this weekend too, just because the Colts have to win to give the Dolphins a chance to make the playoffs, even though I'm Dolph out. So, but yeah, I think the possession game is going to be really key here. I think that's the only way I think the Colts can win is if the ball control, they have to have time of possession over Denver, in my opinion. I mean, Denver beat Cleveland on a Monday night, but that was due to more of the 2 pick sixes that Jameis threw. So
yeah, right.
If the Colts can run the ball, keep the ball, I think that's probably their path to victory. But I'm with you. I think 4 is too many. I think this is more of a 2.5 game. I think this is the Colts season, so they're going to have to play well.
Yeah,
they do
this
have
is
a
it.
defensive line, so I think they can keep it close.
All right, Bills at Lions. This is some marquee games starting off here. Bills at Lions, 2.5-point favorite for the Lions at home, 54-point total. That seems in jeopardy. I'm Bills all the way, plus the 2.5. I think on the turf, we saw what they did to the Rams defense last week. The Lions D, we kind of talked about this last week. They couldn't stop the Packers at home. I don't think they're going to stop the Bills at all. So I would definitely take these points, money line, and probably do over that total of 50.
Yeah, I did a little bit of homework. Do you know Josh Allen's record against the spread indoors as a dog?
Boy, I have no idea. It's probably pretty good.
He's 9-2-1. So
there you go.
Yeah, we're taking the Bills, and plus I think the Bills are going to jump the Chiefs at some point to the 1 seed,
I hope
and
so.
I think they're going to have the same record in the year, and that tiebreaker is going to be that head-to-head game. So.
Right.
Yeah, I like the Bills here. I like their ability to run the football as well. They have balance for the first time in Josh Allen's probably whole career. So, and I think Detroit is still kind of injured. They don't have all of their pieces. And I think Bills are getting healthy at the right time. They're going to get Coleman back. Dalton Kincaid was at practice yesterday. So I think it's going to be all hands on deck for Buffalo.
Yeah, I agree. And the Lions have been winning, but they've been kind of running out of gas. So they're going to lose one of these games down the stretch. It's just a matter of when. Okay, Bucks at Chargers. Playoff implications on both ways. Chargers are a 3-point favorite at home, 45-point total. Tampa technically is leading the NFC South right now, but if they pull into a tie with the Falcons, they will lose the division and may not make the playoffs. So they're definitely motivated. I love that offense. Chargers are, what can I say? They're scrappy. So looks like you like the Bucks in this one. I can understand why you go there because I do like Tampa. And by the way, somebody has a Tampa future to win the division.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no, I like Tampa. Justin Herbert's hurt right now. He's dealing with another ankle injury, and I think that's going to hinder his ability to move in the pocket. And I think when you've seen other quarterbacks this year like Rodgers and Kirk Cousins and even Jordan Love, when you have a lower body injury, or if you have any kind of hampering of movement in the pocket, you become so much easier to sack, and that just makes the offense very stagnant. So I like the Bucks here. They've been playing better. They have the momentum, and they're not necessarily healthy, but they're getting healthier, especially on the defensive line. Mike Evans is back. I like Tampa here, and it's gonna be probably a Tampa home game, right? They're playing in SoFi, so
yeah, they're playing at SoFi. Everybody's a home game except for road team. I don't know if those Bucks fans travel, but So here's another big one. We got Steelers at the Eagles, the battle for the Keystone State. I think that's what it is.
That was the battle like I-91 or whatever.
Yeah, Eagles are a 5-point favorite at home, 42.5-point total. Let me just make sure that's right. It's 5.5 in the market right now. The contest line is 5. I don't understand this line, Coop. I just don't understand it. The Eagles they've won 9 in a row. We know that. They are a really good football team. All the press this week is all about how Jalen Hurts isn't throwing the ball well and squeaky wheel game with A.J. Brown. I totally get that. But the Steelers, they know how to play mobile quarterbacks. They know how to stop the run. 5.5 points. Am I missing something? And I don't love, Russell Wilson in general, but he's played really well this year. It's Steelers all the way here to me. I don't plus 5.5. I take it hard.
Yeah, no, I was really confused by that too, especially with Tomlin's record as an underdog, right? Like I guess when you want to take them is when they're underdogs, not when they're favorites. You always get hesitant when it's like Steelers plus 3.5. You get just an upset stomach, but you see Steelers, plus 5.5, and we're like, oh my God, like what is this? What is this line? So no, I'm with you. I think their ability to stop the run is going to be the difference in this game. But man, Philly's offensive line is really good. That's where the game's going to be won and lost.
Saquon's great too. Saquon's a difference maker when it comes to the linebacking core for the Steelers. I do think the big matchup is, can the Steelers score against the Eagles defense? The Eagles defense has been really good.
Yeah.
But nine games in a row, they're going to lose again too. Who are they going to lose to? Washington? Come on, this is a better game to lose to.
I mean, they haven't even needed to throw the football, and they've still been beating teams. So, I mean, it's hard not to pick that team right now, just from that sheer fact alone. So, I don't know. Like I said, I think whichever team runs the ball better is going to be the one that wins the football game.
All right, Packers at Seattle. This is the Sunday night football game. The Pack are 2.5-point favorites on the road this time, 45.5-point total. Conventional wisdom says take Seattle because they're the home team. They haven't been great at home. But I think the Packers are just a little bit of a step up in class, especially on offense, against this defense that's played really well since the bye for Seattle. So I'm laying the points with the Pack. It's not a great, stomach feels a little turny in that one. But I think they're going to make this happen against the Seattle, they've been good, but they've had a couple of lucky breaks actually the last couple of weeks with some interceptions. So if Love can protect the ball, I like the Pack -2.
I'm against you here. They're wearing neon green uniforms on Sunday night, and that's why.
Oh shit!
Yeah, they're bringing back the neon greens. So, I'm taking Seattle. Hopefully the weather's shitty because I think that'll help. Kenneth Walker, I think, is on the injury report. I think he's questionable for this game, which I actually think helps them because I think throwing the ball more to Zach Charbonnet is going to be something to help soften this Packers defense up instead of actually running it, but just doing those quick checkdowns and stuff like that, which I know Gino will do. So I like the Seahawks here. Give me the points.
Ridgeway will be very happy with you.
Yeah.
Very happy. Okay, let's go. There's 2 Monday night games this week, Coop. We've got Bears at Vikings. Yay. Bears are 7-point dog on the road here. 43.5-point total. I don't think that's moved. That's what's in the marketplace. It's Vikings at pass. I can't see. I originally had Vikings on this list at 6.5. I didn't love the 7, but I could see it. They were beating them down with it before they came back last time, and if they come out of the gate slow, meaning the Bears again, it's going to be curtains because Darnold. I mean, the guy who's really made a difference. We know that Jefferson didn't have a touchdown for like 8 weeks or something, and he obviously had it last week. But it's Jordan Addison. They have got that 1-2 punch now, and of course Aaron Jones, who always kills the Bears. So I see you with your -7.
Yeah, no, I'm taking the Vikings here. I just unfortunately I think Kevin O'Connell can outcoach Thomas Brown. We saw what Kyle Shanahan did to Thomas Brown. And I think they're going to overcompensate. Jordan Addison was the one that killed them last time they played. Also, they played outside in Chicago last time. So I think putting Darnold in a dome, I think is only going to enhance or just going to create more of a variance or like a bigger gap between these two teams. And you're not going to see as much of a up and down play. Also, Aaron Jones fumbled the ball on the goal line the first drive of that game, if you remember correctly. So it should have been way out of hand to begin with. And I think you take the Vikings at home. They're going to be playing for the 1 seed, and if we're correct and Buffalo wins, they could be playing for a division with a win. So I think them knowing that is going to give them a little extra juice one way or the other.
There you go. Like it. Falcons at Raiders. Falcons are 4-point favorite on the road, 44.5-point total. This I should have mentioned. The Bears game at 7 p.m. Central, whereas the second game is 7:30 Central. Not that much of a stagger. Falcons, man, they are just leaking oil. They played good in a couple of, the first half was way different than the second half against the Vikings. They actually came up Kirk looked decent, but look, the bottom line is, can the Raiders get pass rush on him? Probably not. If he's rushed, he's terrible, meaning Kirk Cousins. If he's not, he's fine, sitting back, slinging. I don't like 4 points though, but it looks like you do.
Yeah, I just don't think the Raiders are going to be able to score enough to keep up.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see the Falcons scoring 24, 27 points. I just don't think the Raiders can score more than 17 or 20 at this point. So, too many injuries. Maybe Max Crosby has a really big game. If he creates a little bit of havoc and maybe gets a defensive touchdown, maybe the Raiders win. But yeah, I just don't see how the Raiders can score enough points to
Well,
keep up.
I think Aiden O'Connell's playing, even though he hurt himself. I mean, it's like they had nobody. Desmond Ritter. I mean, their quarterback play is garbage. So
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I will say Atlanta, who got no pass rush for the first 13 weeks of the season or 12 weeks of the season. The last 2 weeks they've actually gotten some sacks, starting to pressure the quarterback a little more. They still I thought they had a pretty good secondary, but the last couple of weeks they've been getting lit up. So we'll see what happens. All right, well, let's go over my bets. This is week 15, Jimmy Wags. I do like Buffalo as my top pick, plus 2.5. Pittsburgh plus the 5 or 5.5 in the marketplace. Then it gets a little murky. I got Cincinnati minus the 5, Green Bay minus 2.5, and Houston minus a 3 for the top 5. I threw in a 6 one with Washington minus 7.5, but not as good.
7.5, Wagsy. That's so unlike you.
They blow people out when they play it, and the other thing is Saints stink. But I hear you. Go ahead. What about your top 5?
We'll see. No, so top 5, I got Buffalo at plus 2.5. I've got Indy plus 4, Tampa plus 3, Tennessee plus 5, Hungry Dog parlay if you want, and then Minnesota minus 7.
Yeah, you like all the dogs there. We're only really against each other in the Tennessee-Cincinnati game.
Yeah.
So this is the thing, dude. Circuit contest, we said it was like super high velocity, all these people out early. Now it's like nobody's getting knocked out. They're getting lucky with the Chiefs or the Detroit. There was only one knockout last week. 51 people are still left in this thing, which in like another week or two, you of course have the Christmas week. It's going to be interesting how this plays out because doing a chop with 50 people, and there's actually 2 parties that have 2 entries. So there's 49 people left in the contest, but 2 people have 2 entries because you have multiple entries. So I'm curious to see how this plays out. It's not as dramatic as I thought it would be after the Thanksgiving week. We went 3-2. It's kind of a long shot to get some money, but we've definitely turned the tide the last couple, last 5-6 weeks here, getting into respectability. But I'd love to get, have a good quarter and close it out. What do you got going this weekend? Coop, you're not coming to the happy hour today, are you?
No, unfortunately, Linnea's car is going into the shop, and I have to go out to Lyle and get that all situated. And they don't offer a shuttle, or they're out of shuttles right now. So she has to actually go pick up her car. Or somebody has to pick her up after dropping up the car. So that's going to be a big ordeal out in Lyle. But other than that, it's going to be a pretty chill weekend. Hopefully, we're going to Ohio next weekend and doing all of like the Christmas and New Year's Eve stuff coming up. So we figured we'd do one chill weekend before we start running around with chickens with our heads cut off. So
nice.
Yeah.
As you can imagine, that is not happening for me. So happy hour. I gotta go get like a Santa hat. Santa. I gotta see if I've got a Santa hat or something.
Yeah.
I gotta look. I'm going to T-Box tomorrow, so it's happy hour today. By the way, I got a date after that.
Nice.
T-Box tomorrow. Watch, I'm going to play volleyball in the morning. Scotty Green's going to pick me up, take me back. I'm going to get dressed, take the train down to T-Box.
What's
and
T-Box?
Then I'm going to T-Box is the big Wrigley bar crawl that goes to all the pop-up bars. It starts at 10 in the morning and goes till like 8 at night. And it's kind of like St. Patrick's Day for Christmas. And it's just people just getting obliterated. By the time I get there at 2 o'clock or 1:32, it's going to be too late but fun. I'll send you some videos.
Nice. Who are you meeting?
So, what's that?
Who are you meeting down there? Anybody?
So Tanya, Tanya from volleyball.
Yeah.
It's her birthday celebration.
Nice.
I know Lieutenant Cavs is going to be there. I don't know if his girlfriends are going or not. There's a group of like 15 people, I think, that are going. So should be a good time. I've never done it, and I'll chastise people that do it because it's like, Wrigley, it's going to be a shit show for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Don't use the bathroom anywhere you go.
Right. Just urinate on yourself. It's better.
Okay.
So then after that, I'm going to go to my buddy's holiday party, Spirits of the Season, which is, a fun time at his place in Bucktown. So I have to figure out in the next couple hours how I'm getting my outfit, a gift for the Spirits of the Season. How am I going to transport it? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Yeah. So I still have to work a little bit today, by the way. But yeah, I'll head out to the happy hour. Starts at 5 at Randolph Tavern. All the listeners. So it should be a good time. I just got invited to Kitson's holiday party tonight too, so maybe I'll try to do a swing through on the way home or something.
Nice, man. You were just a busy man. You are like the mayor. You got to make all these appearances,
Well, I mean, Raja thinks so. No, but here's the thing. Like after that, I'm gonna try to do nothing because I didn't drink last night, Coop. I know this is like, hey, give me a hand. I've had I think it's like 17 to 20 days I've had booze. I mean, it's just like we need to slow this down. So Sunday, even though I want to go to Four Shadows and watch those games, which I could be talked into, I'm going to try to just chill it out at least next week. Like do nothing. Of course, candidly, there's some dating options that have popped up. So I hit the Hinge before I came back. I was,
you set yourself up, right? Yeah.
I had 2 dates already this week. It's my 3rd one this week.
Wow. Man,
like
you were just
it's the pre-holiday blip. It happens and it dies in January, right?
I guess are you renting out your services? Like, are you showing up as Christmas dates, for money and shit like that, or what are we?
I would love that there was some cash involved. I can be a professional Christmas escort. That's me. I'm your consort, your royal consort.
Jimmy Wegs.
Anyway. Well, hey, follow us at Side Action Pod on X and Side Action Podcast on Instagram. Follow me at Wegs Pool on X and on Instagram. Don't forget about it.
Yeah, exactly. Don't forget. And I'm Coop. You can check me on Instagram at Dalton Cooper, on X at Mr. Grumpy Gills. We are the Side Action Podcast. And last thing about your services there that we could start offering. If anything, if it doesn't go well, you could always maybe talk to the mom. I know that you would. The holiday parties, if the daughters, maybe not in the best of mood, you can always see how mom's doing. So I think it's the best of both worlds there for you.
Hey, Mom, I know you need some company, some wine down.
She might be the breadwinner. Who knows?
Well, of course. I'm not adverse to a sugar mama. I mean, at this point, tell you, finances, it's tough. Need some extra holiday cash, according to my roommate. I don't know if you've seen those posts, by the way.
That's funny. Yeah, I have. That's so funny.
I know. I don't know what that's about.
I was gonna ask you about
well, good, bro. Have a good time. We'll check in over the weekend, and thanks for rocking the Christmas stuff.
Oh yeah, it's only get to rock it for like a month, so we got to do it while we can.
All right, everybody. Take care.
Love you guys.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Side Action Podcast. We appreciate all of your listens, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you all again next week on Thursday for some more hot picks and side action. Side Action Podcast, its owners and associates take no responsibility for the opinions or statements made by the show hosts or their guests. Statements or show topics are not necessarily the beliefs of this podcast, and opinions between talk show hosts may conflict. Individuals following the advice given on the podcast accept their own risk of losses from wagers made. As the Side Action Podcast, its owners, hosts, associates, or guests will not guarantee any advice given. The opinions and advice given on the Side Action Podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Intro and outro and transition music credits. Song titles, Jerry 5 and District 4 by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.org. Licensed under Creative Commons Attribution 3.0. creativecommons.org/licenses/by 3.0.